Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. Now today in front of me I have the Hot Toys Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, or as I prefer to call him, General Kenobi from Star Wars Battlefront 2, as that's where I recognise him from. Now on the front of the box you can see we have a nice image of the figure itself and Star Wars written below it, and then the Clone Wars banner at the front there with the alternate head sculpt on the figure. And at the back we have the usual warnings. Now just let me open the front there, and you can see there is a very nice image at the front of the figure. Just here you can see that is a very nice image. I'd love to put that on display on it in itself, or blow it up and put it in a frame. And you can see at the front there he is also battling General Grievous, which is a figure that has recently been announced but hadn't been announced at the time. So there we have it for the box. So moving on in my usual fashion, we'll take a look at all the accessories that Obi-Wan comes with. And here we have all of the accessories that come in the box with the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. And starting from left to right, we have his hologram of Anakin Skywalker. Anybody who has a Star Wars figure probably has one of these. They look like a hologram. They look really nice texture to them. And we can all tell that that is Anakin Skywalker. And he comes with his hologram emitter that it just pops into just there. And there is a hand for Obi-Wan Kenobi to hold that in his hand. And then moving on, we'll take a look at his binoculars. One piece black, couple of silver bits on them, nothing fancy. I won't be using them. I think they might be featured in the Clone Wars. I don't think I've ever seen them on screen, but nonetheless an option. And you can see there with the hands, we have 4 left hands and 2 right hands, which is a bit unusual in my opinion. Nice detailing in them though. You can see the speckling and the weathering on the front of the armor there, the armor panel there. And then it's a black glove. And this one here, there's a bit of controversy about this hand here, this being a trigger hand. People saying, and why does a trigger hand come with a guy with no blaster? But that is actually a hand for holding the binoculars, and we'll take a look at that in photographs later on. And then we have a gesturing hand, I suppose. Again, more weathering on the front. We have a very nice sculpted force gesturing hand here. I shall be using that hand. Then we have the peace sign hand, or the up yours hand. I really wish they'd leave the thumb out on that. It would just look, I think, a bit more gestury and less profanity. And then we have another gripping hand there for the lightsaber. And then we have the usual swooshing lightsaber effect that comes with all of the Hot Toys Star Wars figures. Not a big fan of them. The usual deal with the LEDs that or the lights that come with these lightsabers. Even though it is USB, it's nothing fancy. Same thing with this. The usual lightsaber blade works off the light that emits from the lightsaber hilt. Speaking of lightsabers, let's take a look at the lightsabers. This is the lightsaber that hooks onto his belt, or he can hold in his hand without having the USB wiring running down it. Nice mold, very nice paint, very well detailed. You can see there's detail, very nice detail there. And not a paint blemish to be seen. Slight little mold line, but nothing deal breaking. Very nice. The design of Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber is really nice in my opinion. And then we have the lightsaber that is run off the USB. We'll take a look at that later on in some photographs. And then we have the USB junction box, and we have the hooks that either hook onto the pillar or the post of the crotch grabber or onto his belt. And then we have the alternate head or helmet. I didn't realize at the time of filming that the front of it there comes off, and so does the antenna at the side. I couldn't get the antenna off when I did discover it. You can see it's a hollow head sculpt. The detail is really, really nice in it. There is some really nice weathering and detailing and wash put into it there to uniform it with the rest of the armor on the figure. I don't know, maybe that area could go on the other side as well. Judging by that hole at the side, it probably can if you can get it off. Not a head sculpt I'll be using, or not a helmet or an accessory that I'll be using. Moving on, we have his cape. It's a nice weight to this cape. It hangs quite nice. There's some magnets at the front there. You can see that it just clips onto the armor, so there is no futzing and messing about there or clipping anything in. It just snaps on. It's really nice. You can see there hanging it does hang really nice. There is a wire running through it there for posing. It's quite thick, it's strong. It does hamper the draping effect a little bit, the wire running through it, but it's not a deal breaker. So moving on, we'll have a look at the figure itself. And here we have our Hot Toys 1/6 scale Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Clone Wars, straight up as he comes out of the box. Now, just something else I forgot to mention was the base that comes with him. Usual Star Wars rectangular base, nothing too fancy, very, very bland base if you ask me. Usual Star Wars written across the front with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Again, nothing fancy. So, taking a look at Obi-Wan Kenobi. Personally, I think this is a masterpiece, but in my usual fashion, we'll start from bottom to top. You can see there is some articulation in the feet there. All of the armor is separate. And yeah, there is quite a bit of articulation. The only issue I found with the separation in the armor was that you can see the ankle peg in some pieces, and if you pull the cloth down, then it protrudes through the gap, so you've got to decide whether to see the ankle piece or the cloth. You can see there's a nice wash in the cracks in the boots there to show the detail. The wash runs all the way up into the armor, and it's all very nicely uniformed. You can see there it's all blended nice, very nice. It's in all the right places. Very nice mold. And then moving up into his knee armor, you can see there, to me, that's very, very screen accurate. And I say screen accurate because in the game Battlefront 2, that is perfectly accurate with those silver bits at the back of the knees there. And then moving up, we have a slightly stretchy material there in the undergarment. The bodysuit that he's wearing, it's slightly stretchy, so it does have a bit of give to it. There is a fat suit underneath him there. You can see there's quite a bit of articulation there. They do stretch. The joints are quite stiff. There is a bit of padding, as I said, so it might hinder a bit of articulation in the midsection area. And his robe is tailored quite well. You can see it is lined all the way through, which puts a nice bit of weight to it. I really wish there was a bit more weathering in the robe, though. You can see that the armor has weathering, or you know, looks used all the way through. However, there's no weathering at the bottom of the robe, which I would like to see. Usual Star Wars belts, pleather, usual style pouches that don't open up, velcros at the back, and a pouch on either side, as I said. Again, you can see that the weathering all through the armor is very well uniformed, and in my opinion seems to be in all the right places. All up the elbow there, you can see there's some chips in it. In the shoulder armor, you can see there's some weathering, and the chest armor and back armor, you can see, just like the Anakin figure, it has some articulation in it, so when you lift the arms, that the shoulder armor just slides underneath and it moves out just a little bit, just to allow for some articulation. Again, the weathering all uniformed and all in the places it's supposed to be. As I mentioned before, the velcro at the back for the belt in the usual Star Wars fashion. Now, moving up to the arms, you can see that the armor is all separate pieces. And the issue is, you can see that that's connected by Velcro, which is connected to some elasticated material, which holds it all in place. But again, the joints are ratcheted, but they're a bit stiff. But this is my issue with the elbow joint. The elbow will not articulate any further than there because of the armor. I've tried different ways of shifting the armor around to try and make it bend a bit more, and it won't. I'm having trouble trying to ratchet the arm up. Those ratchets are quite stiff. But you can see there the articulation in the elbow joint is very limited due to the armor he's wearing. So there would not be any extreme articulation out of him. But there's just enough for me in my opinion. Now, bringing it in, I suppose, to the head sculpt, and you can see that that is an absolute piece of art. To me, it's almost perfection. Absolutely the best Obi-Wan Kenobi head sculpt I've seen to date. It makes a show of the episode 3 head sculpt that they brought out, and looking at that head sculpt, I assume that they are definitely going to bring out another iteration of episode 3 Obi-Wan. Perfect. He's got all the blemishes in all the right places. He's got his little mole on his cheek there. He's got his mole on his forehead. I know there's been an issue with the upper lip being non-existent. You can see there that it absolutely is pretty much non-existent. I'd have to take a look at the film or go back on images of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan to see if that is accurate, and you can't see the bottom lip at all. Looking at the hair, again, Hot Toys really know how to sculpt their hair. It's really nice deep cuts in the mold and a very good paint job all the way around. You can see there, it catches the light. There's a nice shimmer off it. And the same with the beard he has. It's painted really well. So I'm just going to put up a quick image of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Battlefront 2 for anybody who is not familiar with the Battlefront 2 iteration of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think a lot of people think that Hot Toys just created this figure themselves, and I actually think they took a lot of reference from that game. Looking at that there, that is absolutely perfect to the figure. You can see that is the detailing in the figure is completely accurate to this game version of Obi-Wan Kenobi, except for the weathering on the armor. Obviously in the game is extremely clean. And just having a quick look at the Anakin as well, which is very close to the Anakin figure that Hot Toys brought out recently. So there you have it, guys. I'm going to leave you with some pictures. If you made it this far, please hit the like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And take care and look out for some future content. Thanks a lot.